it's hard for them to adjust to. Losing vacation time, and that has pretty much been corrected, because what was happening when I took office is many of the employees, especially in the jail, they had a lot of compensatory time built up, and in the patrol where they had a lot of time built up, were required, when they put in for vacation time, they were required to put in, change that to compensatory time. Compensatory time they never lose. It doesn't go away. Whenever they quit or retire, they get paid for it. Vacation time, you can only carry over so much, it does go away. So I understand why it was being done, but I promise you I won't be doing it, because it is not good for morale, and I don't think it's the right thing to do. Not able, you get the compensatory time that's from working over and losing a day off, it turns into compensatory time, but then because of being understaffed, we can't then allow them to take off compensatory time. So it's just like a piggy bank over here that they can't touch. It's not like a savings account where they can go get money if they need to. It's for when they leave, separate from employment. And some of the things that I proposed recently to the Commissioners Court, and as I told you, there's a lot of things, proposals here, and I'm not so naive to think we're going to get all of them in 1 year. I just want us them to be considered and try to start working in the right direction to make it where more people want to work for the Smith County Sheriff's Office. One is the ability to hire at a level commensurate to experience and competency level. And I think I have a slide that'll go into that in a minute. Paying for college degrees upon employment without having to wait 1 year to get that payment for the degree. Paying down compensatory time upon reaching 240 hours. Right now, it's 480 hours, or let's see, 12 weeks that they have to reach before they pay down any of it. And I'll get into it in a minute. I think I have a slide that covers it. But bringing the salaries in line with other sheriff's offices of proportional size to Smith County. Again, this isn't something that can be done in 1 year, but I believe in this presentation here, I've given a 1 year plan, a 2 year plan, a 3 year plan. If needed, we could go to a 4 year plan, which would make it much easier to reach where we need to be over a longer period of time rather than all at one time. Bringing the retirement matching increment back 2 to 1 incrementally. I'm not saying we go from 1.25 up to 2, but I can tell you all the sheriff's offices around, Gregg County right now is at 2 to 1, and I believe Henderson County is at 2.5 to 1, and we're back at 1.25. Proper staffing of patrol, and what I'm talking about there, the crisis intervention team. We've got an opportunity, which I believe I saw an email today from Carmen in the Commissioners Court, that they are going to take that up on the 22nd, I believe, where the Andrews Center is giving us a grant which will pay for 2 CIT officers for 3 years. And what a CIT officer does, they work in conjunction with the emergency rooms throughout the county and the Andrews Center on what we call POWs, or peace officer warrants, or emergency detention warrants, where we have somebody mentally ill that we have to go take into custody and take them to, against their will, to a hospital for treatment. And I can tell you that is a very big burden on our patrol unit right now. And once we go to ETMC, Mother Frances, UT Health Center, wherever, more times than not, we have to sit there and babysit them for 3-4 hours and take that deputy off the street. So this is a way we're trying to counteract some of that to keep the coverage out on the street where it needs to be. Communications is one place, and detention are the main 2 places. I've asked for increases this year, and I'll try to justify that to you here in a minute. And one of the examples of the ability to hire at a level commensurate to competency, the patrol deputy, and I'll give you an example of one. We had an officer from the Dallas Police Department, has 10 years with Dallas Police Department. I believe his wife is the main breadwinner in the family, and she is getting a job in Tyler or in Smith County somewhere. He called us to entertain the idea of going to work for the sheriff's office. And he was willing to take a pretty good cut in pay, but What prevented him from finally coming over was the fact that I could not hire him at his experience level. I had to hire him at the level of a Deputy 1, which is the same level that we get somebody out of the jail that has no experience whatsoever, and we send to the academy and start there. And if we can make some strides in some of these smaller things like this, I think it'll be a great step in the right direction of trying to not only retain employees, but to get employees interested in coming to work for us to start with. And we would determine that experience level because I can tell you, I've seen some 15-year veterans in law enforcement. I've been doing it 37 years. I've seen some people that's been on 15 years. Some of those people had 15 cumulative years of experience. Some of them had 1 year 15 times. So there's a difference. That's why you have to go in and through interviewing and assessments to make a determination. Am I hiring somebody in with 10 or 15 years that's not as good as a brand new one I hired in? So that's something we need to keep. If we are allowed to do that at some point, we need to be prudent and stay on top of that. This is already, and this could have been, I wasn't here when this happened, it could have been an oversight. Don't know if the Sheriff's Office asked for it in the previous administration, but I'm understanding from our HR director that this is already available to the District Attorney's Office and the Auditor's Office, so hopefully we can rectify that. Paying stipend for college degrees upon employment. Right now, if I have somebody that has showed the initiative to get out of high school or even after high school and put themselves through college, a 4-year degree, 2-year degree, whichever, they show that initiative, I can't attract them to the Sheriff's Office very well because we're not going to pay them for that degree until they've showed that they're going to be here 365 days. And I can tell you that degree is beneficial to me as an employer just from the initiative they've shown to get that degree than it is by waiting 365 days. Having pay in lieu of compensatory time, paying down comp time during the fiscal year would be very beneficial, and I'll show you some ways that I think we can do it a little bit. You can do it in different degrees. Just because I'm saying this is the way I think it'd be good doesn't mean there's not other plans there that we could reach an agreement on. In past years, and currently employees receive compensatory time and were unable to take it off due to low staffing levels. They took compensatory time in lieu of vacation. I've talked about that. The salaries lag resulted from both not being able to hire and not being able to retain employees. Right now, comp time is the only thing when we're below staffing levels that we have to have. There's nothing else that we can do to have that employee do the work rather than give them compensatory time, which I've already told you, I can give it to them, but it's not beneficial to them until they leave employment. So if we can come up with something there, and I've got some figures here in a minute that will show you some things I believe we can do. The amount of work, just because we're short-staffed, hasn't changed. So what we have to do is pull people in on their days off, cancel vacation time, and I can tell you, canceling vacation time in jail, I don't even like going into jail. I hope none of my employees hear this. I don't even like going down there to go walk around, and this didn't just start when I became sheriff. I do go there, just because I don't like it doesn't mean I don't go there. But it takes a special person to work in a detention facility. It takes somebody, and they need their full 2 days rest. We don't need to have them have a trip planned or something planned and say, by the way, we don't call them and say, would you mind working, do you want to work? Because of the jail commission, we have to have the proper level of staffing on the floor at any one time or we're out of compliance. And I don't want to be the next sheriff, and I'm not casting any shadows on the former sheriff. I'm sure he tried as well as he could, but I don't want to be the one that gets us under another remedial order in the jail. I want to be forward-thinking, looking down the road and not looking into the mountainside. I want to see what's on the other side. And I think it's the prudent thing to do is to stay ahead of where we need to be and where we need to go. Because when I had the vision, when I decided to run for sheriff, I didn't decide, hey, there's a great job to step into and I don't have to do anything, just draw a paycheck. That's not the case. I knew it wasn't the case. I had the vision, not what it was. I had the vision of what it can be. And I still have that vision, and I'm telling you, we can get there. The total compensatory time for the sheriff's office, a lot of this was accrued over multiple years, so this wouldn't be what you would see at every annual budget. There's the jail, the sheriff's office, communications, everybody has 9,829 comp time hours accrued. 884,574 of salary and benefits was returned to the general fund at the end of FY 2013 from the sheriff's office, because the only thing I can spend it for, only thing I'm allowed to spend it for at this point is if that position is filled. If that position is not filled, that's where all this money comes from. So you can tell from $884,000, we went short-staffed in FY 2013 a great deal. For $175,785, and I don't want to mislead you, you'd have to add 41% benefit package on top of that, because you have to pay benefits. For a little over $200,000 of the $884,000, we could have paid off every hour of comp time in the whole sheriff's office, and still sent back in the mid to high $600,000 to $708,000 into the general fund. Not only is that what I believe should happen, just imagine what that will do to boost the morale of the employees. And on the other side, just think of what some of the problems of the morale are now. We've got to do something to improve the morale, because I can tell you the morale is directly responsible for being able to attract and retain employees. It's directly responsible for losing employees, because we don't have the people. We have to make people come in and work. It's just a vicious cycle, and we've got to break that cycle. Turnover rate by division. We had 33 people that left in 9 months. So what I did, I took the 9 months, divided the 9 into 33, multiplied by 12 to get 1 year projection, what 1 year would be, which would give us a 19.5% turnover rate in the jail. Same thing, same math. Dispatch, 44.4% turnover rate. Dispatch is one of those positions. A dispatcher is a lifeline to the deputy that's responding to all these calls out on the street. Very important position. So just realize when we hired and when I came into office, I was 9 dispatchers short when I came into office out of 27. So just imagine how long it would take to get somebody with no experience in dispatching up to the level they need to be to entrust them in the deputies responding on the street. And we have 4 vacancies at this time. The sheriff's office, which is the remainder of the department, which would be environmental, criminal investigation, patrol, and all the administrative and support positions. We had 9 that left in 9 months, so we've just got an 11.2% turnover rate, which is probably, I haven't checked against other places, but it's probably not too far out of line. It may be just a little bit high, but it's not astronomically high, like communications in the jail is. The total employees, we have 226 in the jail, 27 in communications. In the sheriff's office enforcement side, we have 109 for a total of 362 positions. And there again, there's the turnover rates. These are just kind of rehashing what I've already said. The total number of applicants that we looked at applications on and interviewed in FY 2013 is 980. We hired 91. So that's somewhere around 1 in 10. We considered, in FY 2014, from October to March, we considered 262 for employment. We hired 9, and we have 34 in the process of being hired at this time. I believe, I can't remember, somewhere around 12 to 14 openings we have in the jail right now. I believe Commissioner's Court Tuesday. And I can tell you, it changes just as often as the number of inmates we have out of county changes. So it's a different number every week. So